What's up everyone, and welcome back to another TotalSport video. Now today is both a special and a sad one for everyone associated with football, as we commemorate the great late Diego Maradona. Now Diego was known as a flawed genius, but it became an icon of world football in his time at Napoli and Barcelona, but most importantly in his time with the Argentine national team as he won the World Cup in 1986. Now, I wasn't alive personally when Diego Maradona was at his peak or playing at all, but I've decided to gather opinions from around the world, from the likes of Malaysia, Hong Kong and Argentina itself, to get really what the worldwide impact of Maradona really was.
The first time I heard the name Diego Armando Maradona was back in Mexico '86. When my uncle made me sit and watch him play against England. Immediately, I was blown away by what he can do with the ball on his feet. To be able to watch him play wasn't just a privilege, but it was an opportunity that I could not miss it for the world. I remember during the World Cup at Italia '90, I sneaked out bed late at night without my parents' knowledge just to watch him play against Brazil, because I knew that was going to be one of the best matches of the World Cup. That pass he made for Caniggia is a moment I would never forget. The following day, he made me the most happiest kid in school. Maradona's second goal in that famous match at the Azteca Stadium against England is undoubtedly still the greatest goal ever scored in the World Cup. It still gives me goosebumps and electrifying feeling even till to this day. I could sit back, and watch the clip and the commentary from Victor Hugo Morales over and over and over again. I could do it all day. There is no question with regards to the impact that he made on every Argentinian, but also to millions of football fans around the world. On a personal level, Diego, it was he who made me fall in love with the beautiful game. I would not live and breathe the game just the way I am today if it wasn't for him. I would like him to be remembered for the flawed genius that he is. After all, like every human, he made his mistake. There's no argument on that. But let's not forget, most important of all as a footballer, he gave his all on the field and left nothing behind. Gracias, Diego, from the bottom of my heart, for everything you have done for football.
As with anything, everything's been passed down to me from my granddad, from my uncle, from my dad. Family, it gets passed down through generations, the stories of these players, of Cruyff, of Best, of Maradona. You're an inquisitive teenager, or younger than that, but you're an inquisitive young football player. So the first thing you do when you hear these stories, you hear some strong terms to describe a player that he can't be that good. You go on YouTube and you find out for yourself that he was, if anything, they were probably playing it down a little bit, because this guy was without a doubt the greatest. He's doing things that inspire me to go out for days in practice. I think that he's had a greater impact on the game as a whole. I know that there's, a rule was brought in about the treatment of these flair players after the treatment that he got at certain World Cups. For myself, the impact that he's had on me and how I work now as a football coach is that I'm desperate to never strangle the creative freedom and the ability to love the football that he had in his game. And it's talked about now a lot in the mainstream media about overcoaching and things like that, and I think I completely agree with it. I see it firsthand, and I'm not in any way trying to claim I'm the only coach in the world that gives their players creative freedom, because there's millions, but there isn't enough of us that want to give that freedom to young football players to just go and play, go and try something. How can you put a word on the impact that he's had to the world of football? Just watch what's going on around the world just now. People mourning in the streets. It's like nothing you've ever seen before for a football player. It's far more than a football player, far more. there's a couple of, there's a goal, all the goals just now. 86 World Cup, obviously as a Scottish man, I thoroughly enjoy watching them back. But there's one goal just now in the European Cup where they lose at Barcelona against Red Star Belgrade, and he's chipped the goalkeeper. And even just talking about it's making me smile, and phenomenal. And one of the most toxic, poisonous, passionate atmospheres in the whole of Europe, Red Star Belgrade, stood and applauded Diego Maradona after he scored that goal. I think Pep Guardiola, who took it from the Argentine media, said it perfectly. It doesn't matter what you've done with your life, Diego. What matters is what you've done with ours.
So I was born in 1999. That's 2 years after Maradona played his last game as a footballer. So my first memory, the first time I heard about Diego Maradona was not when he was active. In fact, that was when I was 7 or 8 years old, and my mom had just bought me a poster for my room, which was this infamous still of Maradona out jumping Peter Shilton with his left fist up in the air trying to reach the ball with the word Dios underneath with the number 10 in the middle. And back then I remember asking what the hell is happening? How is this guy out jumping this giant of a goalkeeper? Why is he scoring with his fist? And why was that goal standing? I actually saw the second goal he scored in that very same game, and it was incredible for me to just realize that not only it was the same man who did both things, but that both things happened on the same game in the space of about 5 minutes, which is something absolutely unbelievable. The Maradona moment, I think, that hits closest to home was, in fact, one of the last times Maradona ever stepped on a football stadium, and the only time I ever saw him in a football stadium. And it has to do with the fact that I support Independiente, and Independiente's best ever player is Ricardo Bochini, who won 4 Copa Libertadores and 2 Intercontinental Cups with them. He's a one-club man, and he is also Diego Maradona's childhood idol. He used to go watch him at Independiente Stadium, in fact. And back when Independiente hosted Maradona's Gimnasia in February of this year, 2020, Maradona was received by some of his idols like Bochini and teammates like Bertoni and Burruchaga, all of whom have won the World Cup as well. Well, there was this outpour of love from the fans, as if he had played 300 games for Independiente, even when he played none. I don't have one favorite Maradona goal, apart from any of the both goals he scored against England in the World Cup. I in fact have 4. The 4 he scored against Boca back when he was playing for Argentinos Juniors in 1980. Because there's a very funny story behind them. Before the game, Boca's historic goalkeeper Hugo Gatti said in an interview that Maradona was just a little fat kid invented by the journalists, by the pundits in Argentina. So Maradona's answer was to just absolutely tear him apart in that game, and you can actually look up each of the 4 goals he scored in that game because they are absolutely mental. He humiliated one of the best goalkeepers in Argentine history, and I think that game was especially important for him to end up later at Boca 1 year later. Look, Maradona's final years of life have been particularly hard because as a fan, you knew that, after watching him week in, week out, managing Gimnasia de la Plata, even despite all the love he was getting from the fans and how lively he looked managing them, you knew that he was weaker and weaker as the days went by, especially in the last month when he was just forced back onto the Gimnasia stadium on his birthday just so he could be photographed next to the authorities of Argentine football and celebrate his birthday. But he was clearly not only he wasn't comfortable, but also he couldn't walk properly. And there are a lot of very shady stuff that had been going on with his entourage. But this is not how I want Diego to be remembered. I think the Diego we have to stay with is the Diego that made all those people happy back in the 80s. The Diego that just looked himself happy watching, playing football, just doing whatever he wanted with that ball on his feet, just humiliating rival after rival after rival, just having fun while he was doing it. I think the best video you could watch, the best clip you can watch of Diego, for him to etch his image in your head, I think that would be his warm-up to Live is Life by Opus before the UEFA Cup semi-final. That is something that encapsulates the best of Diego in such a short time and such a playful fashion, I think. So I think this is how we should remember Diego.
Here's my little tribute to Diego on my mask today. I was born in '78, the year Argentina won their first World Cup. I am pretty sure, this is how I'm going to say it anyway, it was my first World Cup would have been '86. Diego Maradona is a hero for me. Obviously, when I was a kid, I didn't know too much about him. I just knew he was the guy who was very good. I've seen highlights of him playing at Napoli at that time. Obviously, it was around that time. Yeah, for me personally, that's one of the biggest things. Is like he inspires us to play football. He inspires us to love this team, and yeah, that's my personal feeling about Diego is bringing people together. So I'm thankful for Diego. Gracias, Diego. There isn't really someone, I don't know. It's difficult to compare other people from other sports or other. He has inspired many people playing football, obviously, but he also shows people what's possible. If you even a kid who is from a very poor family can make it, like, to become a superstar. So that's kind of inspirational. And obviously he has had a lot of influence on music. A lot of songs have been written about him, at least in the Latin American world for sure. We want him to be remembered as the greatest ever. How he could have been so much better. His career has been great, but not enough, not good enough. It could have been so much better. But even given all the problems he has had, he has had a great career. He has won. So I read another comment the other day on our group, and someone was saying, "Oh, it's too bad he didn't win the European Cup." I'm like, no, it's not too bad he didn't win the European Cup. Yeah, maybe it is too bad, but he doesn't need to win the European Cup. It's not like he's won the World Cup. He's carried the team in Naples, where they've never won anything, to win 2 Serie A Scudetto. I mean, that's amazing.
and he carried a bunch of players who are not that well known, so to speak. Mostly domestic players, I guess. The 86 team. So I think, and I know people always talk about him cheating, always talking about his drug problems. He brought us joy, and he brought the whole country of Argentina. He gave them joy. He gave them so much joy, and they all hope that, Messi can do the same.